This is in a news update for this morning, the 27th of March, 2018, Tuesday. It's Michael. I just want to give you some of the top stories going on this morning. You know, there's news going around that Trump is a traitor and that Trump is a dictator. Really? Not really. Well, he signed a bill that had some bad things in it, and we made a mistake in our last broadcast that Planned Parenthood didn't get 500,000; they get $500 million. So we're going to correct that, make a retraction there. $500 million what the government gave to Planned Parenthood. We just made a mistake in our last podcast. But Trump signed the bill. Let me give you a little 101 on review on how the government works, folks. The government, basically Congress and the House are what make the bill legislation. All the president does is sign it. Now that doesn't mean that he agrees with what he signs. It's just like President Trump said on Friday that there is some strange things in this bill. There's definitely some things in this bill that are of concern. But I'm gonna, before I sign this, that's what I want to say to everyone. But but anyway, he signed it. But he's not for it. So he's not a dictator, and he's not a traitor. It's just that he signed it because the Congress is the one, and the Senate is the one that wrote up the bill of legislation. But he said he's going to try to overturn or reverse some of the stuff that's in it, even though after it's been signed, because a budget increase had to be signed, and sometimes you have some fat in there, or pork, as they say, and some things get funded that really aren't really all that good, and that's always been a part of government. You always, when a deal is made in order to get the money for the military, well, you have to give $500 million to Planned Parenthood, the butcher killer place centers. They kill a lot of babies and stuff and sell their parts and babies and everything. So, that's what they do. And that's, part of the bill. And of course you say Trump did that. No, he didn't do that. He just signed it. Remember, the Congress is the one and the Senate is the one that draft up the bills. They're the ones. The congressmen and Democrats are the ones that had something to do with this bill, not Donald Trump. So, anyway, another story, suspicious packages have been going around to bases in D.C. This comes from Channel 6, WTVR, and Fairfax, and to the headquarters of the CIA that have been delivered with explosive materials in them. They don't know where they came from, but upon some of these packages they examined, they had a bombing squad come out, and they were some explosive materials in some, but they deemed that all the packages were safe once they were diffused, or they expected all the contents in it. So suspicious packages are coming to around D.C. bases, and also around D.C. and also the CIA headquarters in D.C. So the FBI and all is looking in on that investigation at this hour or today, and it just happened recently. So we don't know what the story is behind that, but we'll keep you up to date as more development, as more stuff develops from that. Next story, a rumor central here at Harbor Square. Sources have told us here the story more on Judy. What happened was the maintenance man went over there to do some work. Evidently, Judy had a handgun in her hand because she was startled. He saw the gun and forced her way into her apartment and took the gun from her. That's what we know from what sources have told us here at Harbor Square. We don't know anything more about that. Of course, lately she's been sick because she does get sick a lot. Judy does so. She did not move out. She's still here. But that's really what happened. We think the other story, based on the latest rumor circle pool that's going around here, that Judy had a gun, and the maintenance man, she was startled by him. She had it in his hand. He forced his way in there and took the gun out of her hand, or took it from her, which is not a smart idea if he did do that, because he could have got himself shot. If that's the case, it's not a good idea. I would have just left the apartment. That's what I would have done. And probably would have got management, like got Janine or something. But you don't want to go in there and remove a gun from somebody, because it could shoot you if that is the case. But anyway, that's the latest rumor on Judy. And that's pretty much the latest story on that as far as the rumors go. Cannot deny if that's true. We do not know if it's a lie. We have no idea. But anyway, in other stories, Mrs. Laura Brown was 73 years old today. She passed away. Well, in case you don't know who Mrs. Laura Brown is, she was a little girl who was going to a school that was segregated. They would not allow her to enroll in one of the schools here in Virginia. And I think it was Virginia, maybe it was Georgia, but they wouldn't allow her to enroll in one of the schools that was segregated. So her father took that school to court. And in Virginia, there was a case going on at the same time about segregation. She died of age 73 today, this morning. And she was the one that made the schools unsegregated by the ruling of what happened in the court. So that's how the schools became unsegregated, so that blacks and whites could go to school together and be able to go to the same school, which I think is good, because they should be unsegregated, you know. I don't understand why people had to be so prejudiced of people who were different colors, you know, and I don't care what color they are, you know, black or white or whatever, because we shouldn't be like that anyway. But there was a time in America, kids, when people were very prejudiced towards Indians and very prejudiced towards blacks, and it was wrong. And it's good that we have overcome that situation altogether, you know, and that is a step forward in history, as Martin Luther King would say. You know, that was part of what he talked about in his speeches, to making America free, where everyone could get along, blacks and whites, everybody could get along together, because that was what he really was talking about, and that's good. That's a step forward, you know. And then, you know, then Mrs. Lauren Brown's father had a lot to do with that. She had something to do with that. She died today. So anyway, basically, on other stories, there is a certain question on the 2020 census that people are rather concerned about. They're afraid that people will not answer that question, which could cause them not to get all the data on the 2020 census. You know, the census that goes around, there's a question on there, and it has to do with immigrants. And immigrants may not answer it if they're here illegally. So either they're going to change that question on there, or either they're going to find another way on how to word it or how to explain it, so that when people see that question on the 2020 census, when it comes out to your apartment or wherever you live, they'll be able to answer that question without being in fear because of being here illegally. And, you know, they really need to know. They really need to know the question. They really have these questions that are worded in the census so that they can probably know where money can go for schools, for road repairs, for how many people are in the county, and for other taxes or for other services that the government has. And it gives them more of an idea on where money should go, and that's what census is really for. It also gives them an idea how many people are voting, is mainly what the census is really for. So, you know, when you see that question, please answer it as best as you can on the 2020 census, They're probably going to try to reword that or try to change it or try to re-explain it somehow. Probably that's why they brought attention to it. Even though we have not seen the 2020 census because it's 2018 right now, so that probably won't come out till another year or so. But I guess other people examining the questions, that's what they came across. That was a concern concerning immigrants in this country, and so that's basically what all that is about. Um, anyway. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday morning, and I hope everyone is doing well today. Of course, we're doing pretty good over here. We're packing. As far as I know, we're moving. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be fully determined until court date, but we are moving so far until we get other orders saying we don't have to. To tell you the truth, I really think that we're going to be okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because of, because I think we have the evidence to prove our innocence on the things that have been said about me, and I think I'm going to still be okay and still be here. But right now, we're still packing. Anyway, just in case. But I don't think we're going to be moving, but we're still doing it anyway, because this is all got to be hashed out in court. But anyway, I think the eviction will be overturned. I really do, and that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. I think everything's going to be okay. I really think everything's going to be all right. It's just what has happened is this really a shame that it had to do this, because it is not right what has happened here, folks, and to me, and that people had to be like the way they are and cause trouble, and just, and it's just not good. But anyway, that's just some of the stories in the news today. We don't know if they caught that guy that we reported on the 800 block trying to break into a business off of Mechanicsville Turnpike. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. We don't know anything if they caught that person or not. But anyway, he's still at large if they haven't caught him. Hanover County is wanting to know if anybody has any information leads to that, catching this jokester or this mobster trying to break into a warehouse or well, not a warehouse, but a business on the 800 block on Mechanicsville Turnpike. I hope he don't come back, because the place has got cameras, and of course he got on TV. He wasn't on TV because he's a celebrity. We're hoping that if we can find this cat, that we can put him in a jail cell where he belongs, so he won't be messing around trying to break into businesses or trying to get into homes. So anyway, I know times are hard, folks, but there are jobs out there. It's better to find a job than to steal from people. And I've always said that. It's always good to get a job. I know things are hard. You lose work. Maybe you were in a business for a long time and you're mad. Maybe you're mad at the county or mad at the way they did you at work. But going out and getting into crime is not the way to handle it. That's not going to help you. All that's going to do is get you in a lot of trouble and locked up, possibly killed. So it's just best before you get locked up. So you could get locked up, but you also may get killed, because somebody might be armed with a gun and they might shoot you. So, because it's self-defense or in self-defense. So it's not a good idea to be going around trying to break into people's homes as your new vocational work ethic. It's really stupid, really. So if you're mad at yourself or you lost a job and someone did you wrong, the right way to go about it is not to go into a life of crime and a pursuit of crime. But the right way to go about it is to get a job, a new job, and kind of pick yourself up emotionally, pull yourself up off the ground, say, well, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I lost my job. I'm going to go out and hit the pavement, and I'm going to go put applications in everywhere, in jobs where I can work according to what my strengths are and what my abilities are. And I'm not going to let the setback hold me back or hold me down or destroy my life. I'm going to go out and get another job, and I'm going to learn from whatever happened on the last job, so I can make sure that I have this job and I can keep this job and get along with the people, or if that was the issue, but maybe it wasn't, or just do my job and just stay to myself and not really talk to anyone there except for people who you need to talk to, and that way you'll be able to keep your job and hopefully maintain it. And that's what you should do. But anyway, these are just some of the news stories today. Take care, everyone. Happy Tuesday, March the 27th, 2018. Another news update in the can. It's Michael signing off. Take care.